we'll talk about the appendages of the skin. First of which being hair. Hair is dead keratinized cells. There is no hair located on the palms of our hands, soles of our feet, our lips, our nipples, or portions of our external genitalia. The function of hair is to warn of insects on our skin. When we crawl across the hair, our nerves let us know that there's something there. Hair on our head guards against physical trauma. Cut. I got it.
Where was it?
It's sitting right there.
So who called you?
I don't know yet.
Don't yell at me. If it was Mary, I'll recognize the number.
Then press pound. You have 2 new voice messages. You have 1 saved. First voice message. Coach, that one. End of message.
That's your mother.
To erase this message, press 7.
When was
Message
that?
erased.
Just now.
Next
Oh, wait a
message.
minute. I don't know that for sure.
Hi, Mike. This is Mary Hill, the nurse at Madigan. Dr. Ablish saw your mom, and I just wanted to update you on a few changes he made. And one is melatonin 5 milligrams, and I thought that you might want to buy that over the counter versus having the pharmacy send it down. It will be a little bit more pricey. If you could give me a call back, telephone number here is 532-6593. I'm extension 200. Thank you.
End of message. To
Extension
erase this
200. That's
message,
it.
press 7.
Extension
To
200.
save it, press 9. Message erased. End of new messages. First saved voice message.
Hi, this is Mary, a nurse in Northern Light Home Care, calling for Mike.
It's yesterday.
Message erased.
This is merged yesterday.
This is the number right here.
Okay. 532-65393.
Yep. And then she said extension 200. Put on speaker so I can hear.
Thank you for calling Madigan Healthcare. Madigan Health, this is Mary.
Hi, Mary. This is Mike Hannigan. You tried to get a hold of me a minute ago.
Yeah, hi Mike.
Hi.
I just wanted to let you know what Dr. Ablish did for changes.
Yep.
So, did Mary Harbison give you a call?
She talked to my wife, excuse me,
Oh, she talked to
earlier
Denise. That's right.
about that.
Dr. Ablish made several changes. So he stopped the Reglan that she takes 4 times a day, because he said that can increase anxiety.
Okay.
So he really felt that that was one of her biggest issues. So he stopped that and added Carafate for her stomach in place of it.
Okay.
And then he added metformin back.
Okay.
And he wants her blood sugars checked twice a day, so I'm working on that with the pharmacy. And he wants to put her on melatonin, 5 milligrams at bedtime.
Yep.
And, no, go ahead.
Oh, no, I was just going to say, I'm planning to come over in a few minutes as long as you think it's okay.
No, I think it's okay. She seems to be having, it's almost like an anxiety attack.
Yeah.
She told me she couldn't stay in this bed, and she wanted to go home, and she wanted all 4 bed rails up, and they said we don't do 4 bed rails anymore, and they only allow 2. The bed wasn't low enough, then it was too high. We had maintenance come and move the bed because she said she felt like everything was closing in on her.
Okay.
But Dr. Eilish really felt that Reglan was the biggest issue.
Okay.
So we stopped that. She'll start the Carafate tonight when it gets here. And he ordered the, yep, I just lost it in my head. He ordered melatonin to help her sleep at night.
Yep.
And quite honestly, that is probably cheaper if you go to Walmart or Walgreens and pick a bottle up and bring it in. Than
Yeah.
what the pharmacy is going to charge you for it.
Okay. Yeah. And that was 5 milligrams, you said?
Yep.
Okay.
So that's it. I think she's just nervous.
I'm sure. And yeah.
Yeah. That was what Dr. Eilish felt too. So,
Okay. Did he okay the beer?
He is not at this point.
Okay. Then I won't bring that with me.
No, I think he wants to wait and get her a little bit more stable before
Yep. Sounds good.
adding alcohol. Okay?
Okay. Thank you.
You're very welcome. Thank you.
Yep.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Well, I wasn't giving it to her 4 times a day. I was only giving it to her in the morning and at night. She was only getting morning and nighttime pills. But she was supposed to get one of her diabetic pills at lunch. And she was only getting them twice a day.
Well, he's going to look for what he thinks is the answer.
Well,
until he
and
rules it out.
well, he's practiced for a long time, so
Oh, I know, yeah.
he's experienced with Reglan causing that. I've never heard that, but I don't give Reglan very often. And if I do, it's a one-time dose in the OR. So I don't see those effects. But maybe hopefully he's right.
Yeah.
But what I'm saying is it's a damn good thing I wasn't giving it 4 times a day if he's right.
Yeah.
I mean, he's gonna find,
I'm going to get this done.
but the manipulation, her baseline manipulation is her. I just think over the years, what has she manipulated me with? Makes me wonder. So if you go and she seems better, let me know because I'll bring Heather. Heather was hurt that I was going to bring the neighbor kid but not bring her. I'm like, no, you're welcome to come. I just don't know that you want to see what you're going to see.
Yeah.
You got 1 beer glass that's going to tip over. It's just because I think you pushed your screen down and they wouldn't. No, I think it's a good idea you go first. I think when she sees you, I think you're right. She's going to deny the whole thing. Or she's going to try to get you to bring her home. And I think you'll be very calm and even, which you have been right along. I'm more quick to be very blunt with her, which she doesn't like. But after she said the stuff when we got to her house, I've had a hell of a day. And I don't think she was telling you she had to listen to me for 7 hours. I think what she was trying to say is the whole 7 a.m. thing, not calling you to me before 7, she kept calling it the 7-hour thing.
Yeah.
Whenever she referred to that, she'd say, you know that 7-hour thing, I don't think I can do it, I'll have to call you. And I said, well then I don't think we can have to answer. But she refers to it as a 7-hour thing.
I gotta get at least one of these up before shit. Alexa, play my notification.
2 new notifications. From Amazon Shopping. For Michael, Pet Steps has arrived. 2 months ago, you bought the Sish Garden Accessories Pod Kit on Amazon. How many stars would you rate it? From 1 to 5.
5.
Thanks. Your rating will help other customers make better choices.
All right, so back to it. Starting with hair. Hair is dead keratinized cells. There's no hair located on the palms of your hands, the soles of your feet. Same places we just said there was thick skin. And hair helps to warn us of insects on our skin. Hair on our head helps guard against physical trauma. You bump your head, at least your hair absorbs some of that bump. That hair on our head is also important for protecting from heat loss. And it also shields the skin of your head from the sunlight, which is important because if you have thinning hair, you should put sunscreen up there. I've learned that lesson the hard way. Hairs, which are also known as pili, are flexible strands of dead keratinized cells. They're produced by hair follicles. They contain a hard keratin, a different keratin than the soft keratin found in the skin. This hard keratin is tougher, more durable, and the cells do not flake off. It's divided into the shaft and the root. The shaft is the area that it goes above the scalp, where keratinization is complete, while the root is within the scalp, and that's where keratinization is still going on. Each individual hair has three parts that we discussed on Tuesday. A medulla that makes up the central core, large cells and air spaces. A cortex, which has several layers of flattened cells surrounding the medulla. And the outermost layer is the cuticle that consists of these overlapping layers of single cells. Hair pigments are made by melanocytes in the hair follicle, and there are combinations of different melanins possible, from yellow to rust to brown to black, that create all our natural hair colors. Red hair also has an additional pigment known as pheomelanin that not everyone has the gene for. Gray or white hair results when the melanin production decreases and air bubbles replace melanin in the shaft. So here's the cross section. Which again, you should look at closely in your textbook. Hair extends from the epidermal surface to the dermis. The hair bulb is the expanded area at the deep end of the follicle. The hair follicle receptor, or the root hair plexus, is a sensory nerve ending that wraps around the bulb, and hair therefore is considered a sensory touch receptor, and that's why it helps protect us from insects. The wall of the follicle is composed of the peripheral connective tissue sheath, which is derived from the dermis and is also called the fibrous sheath. The glassy membrane is a thickened basal lamina, and the epithelial root sheath is derived from the epidermis. Hair matrix is the area of actively dividing cells that produces hair cells. As the matrix makes new cells, it pushes the older ones upward. And the erector pili are a small band of smooth muscles attached to the follicle responsible for what we often call the goosebumps. The hair papillae is the dermal tissue that contains a knot of capillaries supplying nutrients to the growing hair. And you can see all of those in figure 6.6c, and you should make yourself familiar with them. There are some different types of hair. Vellus hair is a pale, fine body hair that's found on the body of children and adult females. Terminal hair is coarse, long hair. This is what we find on our scalp and eyebrows. At puberty, this terminal hair also appears in axillary and pubic regions and on the face and neck of males. Nutritions and hormones will affect hair growth. Follicles cycle between active and regressive phases. They average about 2¼ millimeters of growth per week. And we lose typically 90 scalp hairs daily. I think that might be a low estimate for me. In women, ovaries and adrenal glands produce small amounts of androgens, male sex hormones, but if you end up with a tumor in those organs, you can get large amounts of androgens, and for instance, a polycystic ovary syndrome, and that can result in excessive hairiness called hirsutism, as well as other signs of masculinization. Sometimes no clinical problems are found. Alopecia is hair thinning in both sexes after the age of 40. And true baldness or frank baldness is a genetically determined sex-influenced condition. Male pattern baldness is caused by a follicle response to testosterone or DHT. Telogen effluvium, TE, is abrupt hair thinning caused by an abundance of hair follicles entering the resting phase at the same time. And this can happen because of stress-induced factors, hormonal changes, surgery, emotional trauma, or crash dieting. Other things that may lead to hair thinning or texture change include drugs, such as some antidepressants, some chemotherapeutics, hypothyroidism, and protein-deficient diets. From there, we'll go to nails. Nails are scale-like modifications of the epidermis that contain hard keratin. It acts as a protective cover for distal dorsal surfaces of the fingers and toes. It consists of a free edge, a nail plate, and a root. Nail bed is the epidermis underneath the keratinoid's nail plate, and the nail matrix is the thickened portion of the bed that's responsible for nail growth. Nail folds are the skin that overlaps the border of the nail. Epicondyle is a nail fold that projects onto the surface of the nail body. This is also more commonly referred to as the cuticle. The hypoconium is the area under the free edge of the nail plate that accumulates dirt. Nails normally appear pink because of the underlying capillaries. There is a lunal structure where the thickened nail matrix is that appears white, sort of a half moon shape. And abnormal colors or shapes can be indicators of disease. And this diagram you will be working with in the lab on Thursday, and hopefully it'll help reinforce what we've been talking about, what I've been talking about. Nail appearances can help to diagnose some diseases. Yellow tinge may indicate respiratory or thyroid gland disorder. Thickened yellow nails can be due to fungal infection of the nail. Coleochaia, or spoon nail, as an outward concavity of the nail, might be an iron deficiency. And Bowes lines are horizontal lines across the nail that may indicate severe illnesses such as uncontrolled diabetes, heart attack, or chemotherapy. And that I'm not saying it correctly. I'm going to go with spoon toe. Spoon nail is shown here. Wet glands, the last appendage, are also called sudoriferous glands. They're on all skin surfaces except for nipples and parts of the external genitalia. About 3 million sudoriferous glands per person, and they come in two major types: eccrine or merocrine sweat glands and apocrine sweat glands. They contain myoepithelial cells which contract upon nervous system stimulation, so they are myoepithelial because they are sort of like a muscle, sort of like an epithelial cell. They have the ability to contract even though they're not true muscle cells, and they have the ability to produce the sweat even though they're not true completely epithelial cells. The eccrine sweat glands are the most numerous. They are abundant on our palms, soles, and forehead. Their ducts connect to pores. They function in thermal regulation. I think this should be absent on palms, soles, and foreheads, although they are abundant on the forehead. Double check that in your book. They are regulated by the sympathetic nervous system, and their secretion is sweat. And sweat is made up mostly of water, 99%, some salts, vitamin C, some antibodies, some microbe-killing proteins, dermacidin is one example, and metabolic waste we talked about on Tuesday. The apocrine sweat glands are confined to the axillary and anogenital areas. They secrete a viscous, milky, or yellowish sweat that contains fatty substances and proteins, which are good nutrition sources for bacteria, which can lead to body odor. They're larger than eccrine sweat glands, with ducts emptying into the hair follicles, and they begin functioning at puberty. Their function is truly unknown. There's some speculation that they may act as sexual scent glands, but it's really just speculation. We don't have a good answer for what they do. We don't have good evidence that there are things such as pheromones in humans. There are some modified apocrine glands. The ceremonious glands we'll find in the external ear canal, secreting cerumen, which is earwax, and mammary glands are actually modified apocrine glands that secrete mother's milk. Sebaceous glands, or oil glands, are widely distributed, except for the thick skin of the palms and soles. Most develop from hair follicles and secrete into hair follicles or onto the hair follicle. They are relatively inactive until puberty, at which point hormones, especially androgens, stimulate them to become active. Their secretion is sebum. It's an oily holocrine secretion that does have some bactericidal properties and certainly helps to soften hair and skin. So here is a summary table. I would leave that to you to go through in your textbook of the cutaneous glands. Acne is an infectious inflammation of a sebaceous gland resulting in pimples associated with Propionibacterium acne infection. Whiteheads are blocked sebaceous glands. When the secretion is oxidized, that whitehead turns black, or actually kind of rusts, and the whitehead becomes a blackhead. Overactive sebaceous glands in infants can lead to seborrhea, also known as cradle cap. That is quite the tongue twister. Cradle cap begins as a pink raised lesion on the scalp that turns yellow-brown and flakes off, as you can see here. All right, and that's where I'm going to end this video, the second of 3.